Because of the use of technology now, we are able to create a situation where officers are immersed in an environment where we're able to induce stress, trigger physiological responses in the body when the officer is operating under stress and fear. And then they're able to make decisions in the simulator. So we want officers to make mistakes in the simulator under extreme stress, not out on the street. They process the environment, they have the physiological responses that come with fear, that come with stress, and they make decisions and process information. We can then replay that information in the simulator, see where they can make improvements, improve their performance. So when they go out into the street and they encounter these situations, it's not the first time that they've had to make those decisions under stress.
We really wanted a theater base, and we wanted to have 5 screens because we wanted the officer to be able to use every sense and every part of his body that you would need to be able to know your complete surroundings. But then we wanted to take it one farther, because what we've noticed also is that there's a lot of accidents out there involving motor vehicles. So if somehow we could incorporate the two, we'd be getting the best of both worlds. That's why we really like the Milo product, because you're able to tie in the driving simulator into the use of force simulator.
This is just one supplement to driving a regular car, but allows you to make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and then actually redo a scenario and do it the proper way. We all take driving for granted, basically. We all do it every single day. The problem being, when you're in a police car, you're taking on a lot more responsibility as far as liability for yourself, for your department, making sure you get the calls properly. We try to tell people, if you can't get there because you're going too fast and you're not doing things properly, you're not going to help that officer or that person that needs help.
In my position in the police department, I get to work with the simulator with what we call remedial training, where we have officers that have problems in certain areas of driving, and part of their training is to get remedial on the simulator to make sure they're good to go on the street. We've had instances where there was an officer who was entering an intersection, turned the intersection a little bit too short, and hit a motorcycle. I had to take that officer on the simulator, and I went through intersection clearing exercises with that officer, which ultimately made that officer a better driver.
We have that picture-in-picture playback debriefing that shows them, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. That's really helpful in training people and reteaching people to do things the proper way.
In a day and age where we're asking more of our officers to do difficult jobs, where they're wearing body cameras, where they're being judged for every decision and every second that they're on the street, that we better prepare them to do this job. And this simulator allows them to do that.
We try to get their adrenaline going. We try to get that heart rate up. We want them in a position of where they're going to be when they actually get to a real call. We have a treadmill set up in the back here, and we also have a heavy bag that they expose themselves to simulate what they're going into. If they happen to be in a hand-to-hand combat situation, then they're going to hit that bag for X amount of minutes or whatever we need them to do to get them to that point, to show them that when they get into a situation, they need to be able to control that adrenaline. We don't want that adrenaline overtaking them and having them do something that they wouldn't normally do or shouldn't be doing.
It really immerses you into the situation. You have to really kind of look around. It's a lot different than some of the other training that we've had in the past. You really get into the entire situation. It really gets you into it. You have activities get your heart rate up, and now you got to look around. You got to really pay attention to what you're doing. And between that, the vehicle simulations as well, you have to multitask and try to figure out what's going on.
It allows us to use verbal de-escalation, which is what we want. There's a lot of different tools that we have that we want to use, and the very first one is to be able to use the communication skills. We want the officer to turn around and basically defuse the situation before it gets to that next level.
This is the best that we can get to real life. There is nothing that's going to be closer to real life unless you walk right out on the street and have a call.
This is all about improving decision making, and the use of the simulator makes it more realistic. And that's what our goal is. How can we have more realistic training? It is a difficult job as a police officer to be able to make split-second decisions. And how do we have training that's more realistic to prepare them for that? The driving simulator, to me, just fits in with the use of force simulator. It makes it more realistic. The whole environment, you know, how do we create an environment that's as close to the real thing on the street and then improve their performance?